And so, it begins. Dark were the skies and chill was the wind as the land was covered in a veil of malice. Across the hill did ride a dread army of the night, cloaked in mist and fog, prepared to rain down death and destruction upon the land. And the people did cry out for a savior, a noble soul to save them from their impending demise. Just as it seemed all was lost, in strode a mighty hero, clad in shivering metal from head to toe. Wielding a terrible broadsword, he did cleave his foes in two, smashing their ranks asunder with righteous fury. And when the day was done and the enemy strewn across the fields in pieces, the people did turn to the warrior and say, "We shall name this day in your honor. Speak unto us your wisdom." The warrior said one word that day: epic.
One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now. Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Welcome to the show. What a wonderful show we have today. I'm saying that, but to be brutally honest, I would rather be playing Spore. Sorry, guys, really. I got Spore. I played Spore for the last, 4 hours. Thought, oh dear, I'm in the middle of a pre-show and I'm still playing Spore. And I haven't written any of my notes and I haven't done any of my preparation. We could probably get another 10 minutes in there. No, I'm still playing Spore, 10 minutes for the show. Yeah, probably best do my stuff now and re-record everything, get everything sorted out, and yeah, I'd honestly rather be playing Spore. It's not really an insult towards you guys, it's just, Spore is really quite good, and I have this little race of Murloc people with beaks, and they're scuttering around making friends with everyone with the power of maracas. Can you match that? Can you? Be honest now. Really? What have you got that my maraca-wielding proto-beak Murlocs do not? Hats? No. They have hats. And they're big hats. Advanced hats. Seriously, you guys can't even contend. Anyway, I'm going to give you Blue Please because I'm feeling very, very generous today. Now, what's coming up on the rest of the show? Aside from the mailbag, which of course we'll be doing first, we'll be talking about Recruit a Friend. Now, last show, which it was sadly 2 weeks ago because of... well, we had a bereavement, which was very unfortunate, but it's all over and done with now, so it's all good. Thank you for all of those for you actually sent condolences to Jen, particularly since it was her aunt. It was very much appreciated. You guys always come through for us. It's very cool. Now, I've managed to get into the Recruit a Friend, got my partner, and actually started the whole process. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time later on talking about how it's been so far, and what you could expect if you decided to go and do the same thing. The pros, the cons, the interesting moments, that'll all be coming a little bit later on the show. Also, we'll be talking about the removal of the Feat of Strength for reaching level 80 first, and what I view as a colossal cop-out on the part of Blizzard Entertainment. So, we might get a little bit angry, we might get a little bit ranty, and you guys will inevitably enjoy it because you're evil sadists, and it'll be cool. And of course, we'll have the illusion of choice towards the end of the show. Now, many of you who have not tuned into the show before will, of course, be asking me, what is the... It's the illusion of choice. Well, that is a really horrible soundbite that I use to torment people, but it seems to stick in people's minds. So, yeah, Casper the Friendly Ghost asks you, what is the illusion of choice? Well, the answer to that is... you get to pick the last topic of the show, or at least you get to try. Email me, themurloc@gmail.com, for anything and everything during the show, including, of course... the Illusion of Choice, and the Illusion of Choice will allow you to submit a topic, and I will go into the mailbox, I will pick one of those topics, pretend it to be at random, although really I'll probably just sort of pick the one that I feel most comfortable with, and therefore you have an Illusion of Choice. Yes, indeed. And towards the end of the show, we'll be doing shout-outs. Of course, later on in the show, we do have an Upcake News for you, and it will be very fun indeed. Gonna have a Terpster song, unfortunately he seems to be in the wrong country right now and is unable to write them for it. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm just a really bad singer. I can't actually write, you know. Unlike Britney Spears, but with a receding hairline and one less kid. Now, let us talk, because that's what we do on this show. We talk, and it's good, and it's cool, and it's fun, and we like it. And the first thing we tend to do on every Blue Please, aside from the 3 minutes 55 seconds of what I've just done, is this.
Mail time.
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag
my tail.
When it comes,
I want to wail.
Although I must have to say that after this week, I think I'm going to have to doctor that sample, because it never fails is a blatant lie. You lied to me, Blue! Don't you understand what you did? Ugh! You are a horrible creation. I must say this. Really. You ruined everything. Now, I'm going to blame somebody else for the fault of this particular email, and the person I'm going to blame goes by the name of Fiery Heart. At least that's his first one. His alt is called Smart Guy. Yes, Smart Guy. Asking for trouble right there. And, if you're going to send an email to me, you're going to expect it to be read out. Now, this email is interesting because it appears to be in a foreign language. And that's not because it wasn't at least an attempt at English. It's because his definition of punctuation is different from the rest of ours. And I'm going to attempt to read this in the style that it would be read if I followed the punctuation to the letter. Because to be honest, if I tried to read this properly, I don't think I'd succeed. And I didn't have the time to reformat it so I could actually read it. So I'm going to read it out, and we'll see what happens. It's from Fiery Heart, or Smart Guy. And he doesn't say what server he's on, so that's probably very fortunate for him. Now, okay, so this is in the style of his writing. Now, as of now, the hero class system is flawed in the way of older, more veteran RPGs. It is not a logical progression. My idea is not to make a load of new hero classes to be made for each class. That would postpone Wrath until next year, maybe a year after that. My idea takes what I think is a new concept: progression from the Death Knight. Chosen progression. The system, if implemented, would involve a series of quests that link off of each other. You're walking along on your Death Knight in Ebelhold, and you see a new quest giver. You walk over and he has two quests. One quest says, Mastery of the Blade. The previously mentioned quest would cause the Death Knight to gain more skills in melee combat. The new quest, Adept's Training. While not as exciting sounding, Adept's Training gives the Death Knight the ability to cast spells. No major spells, just some basic ones. 2 direct damages, a heal, and a damage over time. Once the Death Knight chooses quest, he or she would lose a few skills and gain more specific skills, so on and so forth. The Death Knight becomes more and more specialized. Through the quests, the Death Knight becomes more and more so a specialized class. Now, the Death Knight will not remain the Death Knight class. To show a slight difference, and the path the Death Knight has chose, it will show a title. Adept, insert name here! The good thing about this idea is no one is the same. Quest specialization, combined with individual playstyles, guarantees that no one would be the same, ... In following, I would suggest this. The quest could have a few side developers, so once every few patch, new quest! It would be cool. It would be amusing. Thank you for reading. TB. I would like a shout-out or two to Mommy's Boy, who got hacked, and Lecrae, for being a knob and having T6. Later, Home Fuzz. I really should wash my mouth out because I think I've been tainted. It does kind of make me really sad when people come up with a semi-reasonable solution and yet completely lack the ability to present it. I mean, I like my fans. I like my listeners. They're pretty cool. But to be honest, if you're going to send me something like this, please ask for someone to proofread it that can actually, write proper English. That would be kind of nice. I mean, my English isn't the best. I came from Newcastle. We don't really speak English up there. Kind of more form of monosyllabic grunting and hitting each other with bottles. It's a basic form of communication. But it works. It works for us. So I learned English later in life, when I actually went to a real school. However, I think I'm relatively good at English. Now, the problem with looking at this kind of thing is it looks like one of those, crazy mind-screwing puzzles. You remember those? You saw them as a kid. You got those books and you had to stare at it for about 4 minutes. And eventually, as your eyes were, bleeding, you would see this crazy thing. It's like, oh, look, it's a pigeon. Wow, a pigeon. I feel somewhat underwhelmed. I was expecting something better. Like walnuts. But, I'm sorry, if you submit it like that, it's not really going to be taken seriously. So, aside from the actual idea is not bad. I mean, it's okay. The problem is, I think you're looking at it in completely the wrong way. You're looking to kind of take the Death Knight and superimpose whatever kind of role you want onto it and say that that's a hero class because he's specialising in it. Well, it's not a hero class, really. Now, the idea of a hero class would surely be a progression onwards from what you already do. You don't want to change things around completely. And if you have it too similar, well, what's the point in even playing the class altogether? You know, if it's like, oh, he's a nuker, and his spells are kind of the same as a mage. And it's like, well, no one's going to take him to raids then. Self-depreciating humour, Brit at its finest, I must say. Now, that's kind of the problem with it. If you're going to superimpose that kind of idea onto the character, then the character might as well not exist. You might as well play one of the existing characters. But good effort. Please try and proofread in future. I mean, have some sympathy for my poor eyes. I mean, really. That was horrible. I did see a pigeon there, and I was disappointed. Now, got a new email, actually, that came in. It was actually today. And it was rather amusing, at least so I found it. It was from a Thura, who is a level 70 tank called Storm Reaver. And he said, in short, why can't Alliance win Warsong Gulch? And why did do Horde seem to dominate most BG? Is this a disease? Is there something going around that I'm not aware of that causes people to start dribbling randomly on their keyboard, and the shorts within the keyboard and the fire cause these random emails to appear? Because I'm sure someone can't actually be typing these and be thinking, this is an amazing piece of prose. No. Now, let's read the other sentence. I like how he says, in short, as to imply that I wouldn't realise that a 4-line long email, 2 of which consisted of his name and a requested shout-out, was a short email. But no, we'll go on regardless. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, at least until I finish this one line. And he says, why is it that Alliance can't win Warsong Gulch? What is this huge disadvantage that Alliance has? I play both Horde and Alliance 70s on both sides. It seems that Horde just can't win more. Why? Shout out to my guild Evolution, if possible. Possible? Okay, there you go. You've got one. Now, it's always amused me that people have always said, well, this side has an advantage in Warsong Gulch, this side has an advantage in Warsong Gulch, blah, 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 you know. Why can't Alliance win in Warsong Gulch? Well, to be honest, you don't have a good reason, because they're pretty much identical. The entire arena is about as close to symmetrical as you're going to get without it looking identical. And you have the same classes, okay? So, the explanation would be that the Alliance on your server suck at PvP. Surely. I've never seen these so-called imbalances. AV is the one that I can maybe understand. At least I could have understood way back in the day when AV was about twice as large, took about twice as many players, and actually involved fighting. Now, that I could see having an imbalance in some form or other, especially if you placed the bases in the wrong place, maybe had line of sight issues, and maybe one base was more difficult to approach than the others. And people were complaining about that, actually, you know, back in the day. People were saying, well, you know, this base is harder to take than the other one, blah, 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 the Horde has an advantage, the Alliance has an advantage, blah, blah, blah. But to be honest, if you're going to talk about a 10 versus 10 symmetrical capture the flag, you might as well say that the red team has a bigger advantage in 2-4 than the blue team. No, really. You get to do exactly the same thing. So, to be honest, really not much of a valid argument, at least in my honest opinion. And again, type something good! I mean, seriously. My mailbox has been inundated with fail as of late, and that's kind of disappointing. Usually I can rely on you guys for some pretty good content, even if it's just ludicrously retarded. This is just lazy. Yeah. Kind of unfortunate, but there you go. I've got one more, which must be a hoax. I mean, we already know that this is going to be a hoax, and this was actually sent through to me through my video games email address, but to be honest, it's so generic, I'm going to read it out anyway. And you could wrap the forums on this one, you really could. It's so bad, it's like, yo, what's up, my homie, Total Biscuit? Please read this. I think that you are the elite winner, man. You are rich about everything. The other day, my mom was like, you aren't listening to the Turtle Pastry guy, are you? And I was like, what? Total Biscuit is to win, Mom, so you just don't know nothing. So go away, like, seriously, and show us like a man. And I was like, you just go away now and shut up, got things by. And she was like, go to your room and no computer. But now I'm sending you this anyway, because she's a lame. And I'm gonna listen to the show was live. So please read the shits of it. So my story, I was wondering what in your favourite game, so I can thinking that you as my mum is coming, so I get you really bread. Says I'm serious, your biggest fan, the Windsor. I didn't know you knew Swahili. That's impressive, that really is. I'm really pleased that kids are actually going out and learning another language. It's brilliant. In this modern world, I mean, you're looking at a case where you're going to have to compete. And you're going to have to compete not against people in your own town, not against people in your own city, but against people in the entire planet. And having a second language is really good for your career. It looks great on your resume. It really does. It looks fantastic when you're applying to any company that has any kind of remote international presence whatsoever. So yeah, good job. Very good job there. I'm very impressed by that. It's good to see the kids getting out and doing something. It really is. Now, my name is Total Biscuit, and this is, of course, the one and only Blue Please. 15 minutes of complete disaster there with the mailbag. When I come back after the break, I will be talking about Recruit a Friend, and I'll also be announcing the winner of the Designer Contest and announcing the contest whereby you can win more beta keys. Yes, indeed, we have more beta keys for you guys. So if you want to get into the beta and you haven't already, we'll give you the opportunity. So after the break, Designer Contest, the winner of the Designer Contest, who's designed a contest for you to enter, and you can enter this contest that the guy designed for the Designer Contest, and you can win a beta key. Oh yes, yes you can indeed. I'll be announcing that after the break, and for the break I shall be playing... Well, that is actually a really good question. I was thinking of playing some Sticks just to really annoy you guys, but I'm actually not that mean. Really. So, I'll be right back after this. Enjoy.